Hi, this is the help video for Excel Chapter 2, Pause and Practice number 3, and I am just going to cover step number 3 in this movie, the use of the if function. So the if function, so this whole Pause and Practice 2-3 has some very powerful functions in introduced, okay? So we're going to use this formula tab and the function library to do a lot of these. So the if function is a binary check, meaning there's a condition that you're checking. And that condition can evaluate in one of two ways. It can be true or it can be false. And with the if function, you have the possibility of doing one path or one action if the step is evaluated as true, and a different action if it's false. So it's super powerful. So let's say you work in an HR department and your employees can either have family or single health coverage. And so there's a column in your spreadsheet that has an F or an S, let's say. So if they have family coverage, you're going to charge $200. If it's single, they're going to charge $100. So you could use an if test and check if that value is an F, put a 200, otherwise put a 100, right? So each cell you would evaluate against something. This case would be against an F. And if that's true, you'd enter 200. Otherwise, you'd put 100. What we're going to do here is we're going to check our revenue by month against the average that we have over here. So if I just asked you for April's revenue, is it below the average? So the average is 8,591 and April's revenue is 7,339. What would your answer be? Is April's revenue less than the average? You would answer yes, it is. 7,339 is less than 8,591. So you would put a yes in here. Let's move over to July. 9,333. Is that less than 8,591? No, that evaluates as false. It's not less than, so you'd put a no in here. So we want to end up with a yes or a no here to answer this question. So that's one thing. But what I also want you to recognize is as we're moving across to put this formula in, we're comparing every one of these revenues against a single value. That single value is in K15. So we need to lock in the reference to K15. So when I copy it, May, June, July still goes back and looks at this. So we need to make that reference an absolute. So you have to start thinking about that when you're planning your formulas. So the easiest way to do this is to use the function library. And so the if test is a logical function. And so one of the things, the biggest challenge is knowing, well, it's not the biggest, but it is a big challenge to know where these functions are. So you can always go to insert and then you can type a description, or if you know what the function is, you can type it and say go and get it that way. So you don't have to recognize, okay, logical if. If is part of the logic, right? So you don't have to remember that. You can use the insert function and kind of search for what you want. So we have the function argument box, and I want to draw your attention to a few things on here. First of all, this line here tells you what this function's about. It says checks whether a condition, which is here, is met, and returns one thing for true and another for false. So notice how logical test is bold. That is the only required element for this function argument. Underneath here where it says logical test, this is a description of what you have to put in here. Is any value or expression that can be evaluated to true or false. So what we're going to do here, we're in April, we're going to say this number less than this number, right? But look, if I leave this here when I copy it, it's not going to be K15, it'll be LM. So we need to hit my F4 key and make that reference to K15 absolute. It will not change. So when I copy it to get May's and June's and July's, this part of the formula will change because we want to get the different months. But what we're comparing it to is going to be fixed. All right, so if we look at this, it says, hey, well, this condition evaluates as true, which we just looked at that. That is less than that, so that's true. We come down here, and if it's true, what do we want to say? We want to say yes. If it's not true, we want to say no, right? So if this evaluates as true, we're going to put the word yes. If this evaluates as false, we're going to put the word no. I'm going to click on that, and it puts yes in there, which I know that number is less than that. I want to center that, so I'm going to go home and click on center before I copy it across. So now I can just take my little data fill handle, go to the little box, get the crosshairs without the arrowheads, and drag it across. And so now let's look at this one. This evaluates as yes. Is this less than that? Yes, it is. And look at the formula. K15 doesn't change. 8534 is less than 8591. Yes. 9333 is less than, no, it's not. It evaluates as false. 10,000 evaluates as false, so we get a no. 8311 is less, so it evaluates as yes. So that all works. So it's not complicated. You just need to think it through step by step. All right, so I'm going to end this video here. We're going to talk about SUMIF in the next movie. Thank you.